Very good evening, friends, wherever you are, in any part of the world. I would be happy if you happen to listen to what I have to say in respect to what we call westernization or westernized lifestyle, or what we call the negative impacts of the westernized or excessively globalized lifestyle on different cultures of the world. And my particular emphasis is the ill impacts of the westernized life on the Indian culture. So I would invite your patience to hear whatever I have in my mind and what I consider to be essential to share with my audience world over. Because anything good in any culture doesn't only belong to the people practicing that culture or observing that culture, but it belongs to the whole of the humanity. If anything is good in American society's lifestyle, then that is for the Indians, that is for the people of the entire world to adopt in their own lives and to get benefits from that adoption. My main purpose is to protest. In fact, if I may happen to be a bit formal in my choice of words, against the over materialistic approach to life, commercialization of life, relations, blood relations, social relations, neighborly relations, all getting affected, very badly affected because of too much of consumerism, too much of commercialism, too much of attraction to amass money, uh, too much emphasis on what they call postmodernism. You do anything and that you justify any way you like. You go unethical, you go illegal, but as long as you defend yourself or you hoodwink others or you give cover of lies on to the misdeeds or the misadventures or works done or activities done with ill intentions just to enjoy your physical life. This is very bad. In my thinking, it's so very bad. The entire world's intellectuals, the entire world's law abiding citizens, laws that are for us, laws that help us live peacefully, laws that encourage us to use our creativity for our benefits, advantages, and for the larger advantages of the world at large, or for the good of everybody in the world. I have been in the teaching profession. I have been teaching. I have been learning. I have been a student. I tell you frankly that on many occasions I have felt that I have been taught by my students, the best of the students. They have had something for me throughout my career, and I'm still uh, in the same career, and I will still remain in that culture for a long time to come, as long as I am allowed by time, by nature, by my maker to be functioning, to be working. Uh, I am much concerned about what has been happening. People get into road rages. They just give illogical logic to have a fight, to have a brawl on the road, because they think that everything is all right. You can call your father by his name. You don't call him by the relational name like dad or papa or father, whatever. You call him comrade George, comrade Christopher. You don't call your father or dad or papa. I have something to tell you. You have started calling your mothers, your fathers by name, and then you think it is modern. In our society, then imitation, you call your mom yar, you call your papa yar, and you sound so very rude, so very bad. to any cultured person's ears, these words, yar or comrade or other slang words, these words are so uh, much painful to the ears of culturally conscious people. My subject has been Indian culture under threats of excessive globalization or excessive imitation without any thinking of the westernized lifestyle. And I won't call it lifestyle because style has to be something that is really good, that is nurturing, and that helps people to grow up and grow up nicely. You come home shod, you don't have your shoes off, and you get into your bedroom, and you don't have uh, what you call a kind of washing, and then you start eating. You start eating with the left hand instead of the right hand. You eat on the same bed on which you sleep. Sometimes you have your cup of tea, cup of coffee on the book that you are reading. And you say that some of the tea drops that fall on the book, and the book's cover, book's face is spoiled, and you don't have any sort of compunction on that. You think it's all right. Means a book can be your tea plate, your saucer. You are in the company of your sister, and then you point to her as someone, a woman, or you refer to her as a woman, as a grown-up girl, and you don't talk with her as if she's your sister. There's a difference between any woman and a sister. There's a difference between any man and your brother or your father. There's a difference between any woman and your mother. Although all men and women, if they have children, they are fathers and mothers. But then, when you talk to your own mother, you must be uh, polite, you must be courteous, you must be respectful towards your mother. You address her in a manner that pleases her, so that when you become mother to your child, you become father to your child, and your child or your children address you respectfully. And this tradition is so sweet, a tradition that is maintained for the sake of human decency, human beauty, human elegance. That tradition is not bad to be thrown off or not to be called tradition. The word tradition is used with a kind of uh, anathematic feeling. Traditional, he's a traditional man. He comes from a traditional society. He comes from a conservative society. A conservative person is is a person of thoughts, is a person of commitment, is a person of conviction. He knows that you are conservative about something because you know that that thing will remain in your life all through, giving type, nourishing type, uh, nurturing type. You are conservative in the matter of going to a church, going to a temple, going to a mosque after having a bath, after having some sort of body cleanliness, because when one's body is clean, mind also gets clean. There's a connection between body and mind. When a person is bodily tired, mentally tired. When a person is bodily, you may say, not clean, then he doesn't feel comfortable with himself. So when you have to go to a temple, a church is a temple. A temple is a church, a temple. A temple means, I mean to say that a church, a mosque, a Hindu temple could be called a temple where you go to have some sort of peace of mind, to have someone who you consider to be the universal father, whom you consider to be universal maintainer, whom you consider to be the creator of the universe, and then you just address him, having your eyes closed or having your focus made beautifully or very attentively, and you confess also that I have not had a good life because of my misactions, misadventures. Please forgive me and let me have a good life. You go to a temple, maybe asking for something, maybe asking for pardon, divine pardon, or maybe requesting the universal Father, universal God, that He should make your life easier. He should give you a strength of body. He should give you determination of mind, and He should give. It is not giving and taking as we do in our day-to-day life. We give some sugar to someone who needs to have a cup of tea and he doesn't have sugar. It's not like borrowing a book from somebody who gives you a book and you carry it home, you read it. Giving something that is given by God to human beings, it's this that you get inspired. You have self-confidence that I have brought myself to the ultimate giver, ultimate donor, the most generous donor, and He gives only because He the Father. They are the Father and the Mother, the universal lordships. So this is what is good. When you come back from the temple, from the church, from the mosque, you have this self-confidence that I have done something good. I had a bath. I put on clean clothes. I went to a holy place. I remembered that being. I felt the presence of the image of that great being, and I requested him. I requested them that please make my life better. Let me have opportunities to do good work. Let me not go the bad ways. Let me have good people as my friends. Please stop the situation, or please protect me from the situation in which I come into anger. I shouldn't come into anger. I shouldn't come into rage. I shouldn't have excessive jealousy and spite and all that. I shouldn't be greedy. Means these are the things. Generally, people, good people, speak out to the God who is physically not present but present everywhere. So these days, I see that you have the same sort of, you can say, trend that you walk down the road and you are sipping coffee. You have your hand joined with the hand of your so-called girlfriend. You smoke cigarette. See, okay, joining hands not altogether bad. It's good, but you shouldn't start living in the streets as you live in the bedroom, as you live in your own private living place, because that is where uh, you have to be intimate with your friend, with your wife, with your husband. That is the proper place. You can't do things that you do uh, privately in your personal residence, because that is for public. And on the roads, in the streets, you have all kinds of people, children, teenagers, young people. And public places are the places where you have to behave. When I say to behave means, of course, we are civilized. And when civilization have not dawned upon, people were not civilized, they would walk naked. And now, because you are educated, you have a certificate from an American university, Australian university, or any so-called university of world fame, but you behave like an animal. You walk naked, you walk in shorts, you don't have any proper clothes on, you smoke cigarette, you do so many things that are not seemly. And that is what is the sign of your having been decultured. So uh, everywhere in the world these days, even in the poor country, those who are rich, they dress themselves as Western people do, English people do, Americans do, Australians do, because these are the countries of the world. They say you, of course, you have poor people also there. You have people who are very good. They don't ostentatious. They don't show off. They live a cultured way. Maybe at least 5 to 10% Americans and Britishers and Australians, they live as 5 to 10% Indians live, because you are thoughtful, you are conscientious, you have a sense of what one has to do in private residence and what one should do in public places. you have that sense, and then you act accordingly. But even in Calcutta, that I have been coming and going, and presently I am here in Kolkata. I love it, the city of joys. I love it for so many good things, but it's from time to time when I go out, maybe in the evening, afternoon, anytime, I see girls and boys means in odd dresses and smoking. Cigarette smoking is dangerous. Everybody knows. Lung cancers, they say these cancers are caused because of excessive smoking. And if you smoke in public, you are a girl of 21, and you should be avoiding smoking. Smoking is not a fashion. It is anti-health. It is anti-body. It is anti-mind. But you smoke. Your dress is unseemly, uncivilized people. You don't eat the way you should be eating. You speak in the slangs or slang ways. That is not good, because children, teenagers, all sorts of people. Why should you speak in bad language? Why should you speak in bad tone? So all these things come under what they call globalization, that anybody can do anything anywhere. No, this is not all right. Human life has to be ordered. Human life has to be conditioned. There is no human being who can have unconditioned life. Everybody's life is conditioned. Nature has given us so many things free, but nature has also imposed on us some conditions. You can't sleep on the road. You have to sleep in a place that is yours, or you have to sit in a place which is designated for people sleeping, especially for those who don't have their own houses, and those who sleep on the pavements in poor countries, developing countries, or even in the developed countries. You see refugees coming from South America in the north, and then they have to sleep on the pavements, or they have to sleep under the tents and all. So uh, at these places, you have to see to it that common sense prevails. The minimum of human behavior, decent behavior, is maintained. So what I wanted to say, that even in poor countries, people become rich overnight. Smugglers, corrupt politicians, they crush the people. They overtax the common people, and then they amass money. Because in poor places, you have a very unholy nexus between the police officers and policemen, because they get into jobs by bribing the politicians, by bribing the people who are already in the police force and those who hold influential positions. You have business people, those who are rich business people. 90% of such business people who are rich, they are rich because they have sold out to the consumers spurious things. They have sold out to them adulterated things. They have not sold out to them according to measures and weights. They have sold out to them petrol, and if 10 liters, then 8 liters or 7 liters or 9.5 liters only, and they make profit because they sell thousands and thousands of liters every day, and they don't give to consumers according to the proper weights and measures, and then they loot. And these people, they live anyway. You see that even relationships have become so fragile that you marry somebody, and then 6 months after you divorce. Why did you marry in the first place? You marry someone because you like, you love. And love is not that, what you call this, that unstable. How can your love for a person evaporate into hatred so soon? It can't be possible. You kill your wife because the wife's parents are not moneyed people. They have not given you money to, you can say, to live on their money, and you don't do anything. You marry somebody, and then you start torturing her. Sometimes, but exceptionally, that even some bad women, they marry some good people, and then these good people are, you see that uh, they are put on chains, they are harassed, they are blackmailed. in so many ways. But the number of such women blackmailing or harassing men, that number is very small. But we often hear that people who get married to someone in America, Australia, and the woman goes there, and then that this man already has so many relationships, and then this married woman is tortured, she is sometimes burnt, and then you have police cases that happen in the countries concerned, where the incident had taken place and the origin of the people who are involved in the crime. Uh, this, when you see happening every day in the newspapers you read, on the television news stories you hear, then as a citizen, as a good citizen, I don't say nobody is good, absolutely good in this world, but we have to be minimally good at least, that we live and let live. We live in such a way that we don't create problems from others. People don't harass you. Government officers are there to serve the people, and see how corrupt they are in the corporation offices, in the electricity offices, in what you call airlines and all that. So uh, there has to be a fixed, you can say, amount of money to be paid by passengers, even when it is rush or whatever, as used to happen in the Indian railways, that it is rush months, festival months or whatever, non-festival or non-rush months. The fares remain the same for 5 years, 6 years, every 5, 6 years, 10 years, or whatever. You have a rise in the train fares and all that. But these days, every day they say that today's price levels have changed. Today's some things have become costlier. Things never become reasonably viable. And they exploit the people. You have a festival and many people want to go. So simply because many people want to go, all the people won't get seats on the planes because you have limited number of planes. So let them pay as much as they are made to pay in non-festival times. Only those people, when the tickets are sold out at reasonable prices, at usual prices, then other people won't get. As in the trains, berths are reserved, and once the berths that are available on the trains, they are already sold out, then okay, other people will have to wait. They will have to revise their programs, or they will suffer. But that doesn't happen. Consumer items, flowers and all that, earlier, 5, 6 years, 10 years ago, prices would be stable. But everything has become commercial. You see the situation and then you start robbing people. This is globalization. A person in Kolkata telephones his friends in Bombay, in Kathmandu, in Singapore, that don't sell lemons at this rate, because lemons are selling in Kolkata or in Bombay at this rate. And there you have the stock of lemons. You can sell at the reasonable price, so that all, because lemons are the source of vitamin C, rich source of vitamin C, and people consume. People make use of the lemons, and their health is all right. If people's health is all right, that is not only for the people's whose health is all right, it is for society. It is therefore very important that you retain your culture, because culture is formed because of geography, because of nature settings, because of things that are available, because of the terrain of the land and all. Uh, Language also, Sanskrit language in India was the language of pride earlier, but now this language is looked down upon by the so-called trendy westernized people, westernized people, westernized people. I'm sorry, I have to repeat so many times because so many languages that are so decent, so capable of carrying forward or giving the messages or communicating, extremely communicative, extremely sonorous. But these languages, they are getting lost. People don't speak because some of the people who are not nicely educated, not nicely developed, they think that speaking a language that is more widely spoken is better. And in that language, you don't have any proficiency. You don't mean. You make use of words, but you don't know what meaning you are going to convey. In a very hodgepodge way, or in a very inconsiderate way, you make use of that. So, walking down in the streets in shorts that are unseemly, smoking, particularly, drinking alcohol. They have a bottle of alcohol, they have a bottle of wine, and all these things happen. And my concern chiefly is on this cheating, deceptive habit of the people. And there has been a vicious circle because of the negative commerce, negative trade, negative, all for generation of money, wealth, and filthy wealth. If easily money cannot be amassed, you have to work hard, you have to work honestly. Honest engineers, honest doctors who don't sell kidneys, who don't engineers who don't make bad business, who don't take commissions, and they insist on the use of quality materials for making roads or making bridges or making other constructions. These people, they get the salary and they should get the salary that they deserve to get. But they should not practice taking bribes or giving bribes. You give bribes to your superior engineer, a chief engineer, and then you are an executive engineer, supervising engineer. So you take money and you distribute among the higher ups, especially in India. Corruption. Modi's government claims to be what you call against corruption, but I see everywhere people don't dare to report against the thefts and the dacoities and the rapes because of so many factors, particularly the thieves and the looters, the robbers. They loot, they take things away from your house, and you are a gentle person. You don't even look at other people's things. And in the evening, in the night, they come and they damage your air conditioners. They damage your garden, whatever small garden you have, and you don't report because the policemen, they will ask for bribery to get your you can say complaint registered, what they call FIR, and they will call you so many times, and you are the only bread earner. And when it is time for you to work in the office in your own place, and then you get called. So who should take the hassles? So you suffer silently. You don't report to the police. And these police people, if they are good, no criminals would dare to commit crimes. I must say, criminals commit crimes because they know that policemen are not against them, not to arrest them, not to control them, but to take cuts from them and to let them rob the people, law-abiding people, good people. Bad people don't have any problem quarreling, fighting, beating, getting beaten. But good people who believe in human decency, that I shouldn't be shouting, I shouldn't be quarreling, I shouldn't be abusing, I shouldn't make bad language. And these people, just to maintain humanity, just to maintain decency in their life, they suffer. And everywhere, 5 to 10% policemen in India, they are good, but they are, you can say, overwhelmed by the marauding policemen who have a nexus with the criminals. Uh, Take example of any city of India. No, it doesn't seem to be all right. You don't seem to be happy. Uh, you abuse, you get abused. You beat, you get beaten. You bribe, you take bribe. If you are in the vicious circle, part of the vicious circle, life is comfortable. And life is comfortable because you have sold out your conscience. You don't have any feeling for humanity. You don't have any feeling for decency. You don't have any sense of personal honor and prestige. You don't have any honor. And a person who doesn't have self-respect, he doesn't respect the self-respect of other people. And that is happening. A politician, see why politics is so attractive to bad people? They don't have any qualification. When you advertise for jobs, you say that even a peon, even a gatekeeper should know a certain language, and that person should have certain efficiency in that language is used. But politicians, anybody can. You just get criminals and you pay them and you ask them that you go and silence the people who are not in our favor. You just trouble them, threaten them that if they don't vote for your party, your organization, then they are always at the risk of losing their life and property. Every year, hundreds of people around India get killed because of political rivalry. And who does all that? It is the politicians, those who are in power or those who are outside power. And see, this is called musical chair sort of thing, as used to happen in Tamil Nadu. That 5 years DMK, a party called in Tamil Nadu, that rules, and then after that, it doesn't do any good to people. So it is not that people are very wise and then they throw these corrupt politicians just for the sake of sin, just for the sake of mob mentality. Another party comes, it does the same thing. So alternating, 5 years you loot, you rob, and then you get thrown off. Then the same looters, the same robbers, they come, they again loot. So this vicious circle goes on. And democracy doesn't mean that everybody should have a right to vote. In Plato says, the great man from Greece, he said that only those people should have the right to vote who are conscientious, who understand that society at large has to be benefited. Nobody has to be, you can say, unfairly supported, because even if he doesn't deserve the support, the government's money, the money of the public has to be spent in such a way that roads are made, electricity is provided, water facilities given, because water, electricity, you have clean roads, hospitals, schools, colleges, sanitation. These are the basic things. And if these basic things are taken care of, then people live healthily, they get education. And good education. Education doesn't mean earning certificates or just buying certificates. These days, certificates are not earned. You go to America, you have certain universities prestigious, and the rest of the universities where you pay money and you get certificates. You don't have that quality education, and therefore your mind is not developed. Your heart is not touched with sympathy for the people or goodness of humanity. You just become a money-making machine. You are a human being, but you consider your success on the basis of how much money you can earn, how much you can threaten people. If you come to power, power should go to those people who don't misuse or abuse power. But in our places, in India particularly, and in every place you see that power-hungry people, they come into power and they start misusing the power, abusing the power. They make money for themselves, for their family members, friends, and the so-called supporters, and the common people who are not affiliated to this party or that party. They are affiliated only to humanity, only to this sense of having a good life, an undisturbed life, and a life that is not harassed, a life that is not allowed to be cheated, a life that is not disturbed. But these things don't happen. In India, I started with this, that imitation. So we have festivals, Dhatri Dwitiya, a day when the sisters and brothers come together. The sisters and brothers, they have a spiritual love, and sisterly love to brothers, brotherly love to sister. And now it doesn't happen. No, people start showing that this much gift I have brought. No, brothers may be non-earning, they may not have money. And if they are teased for not bringing any gift by the so-called sisters, then sisters are bad. Love, gift is that of love, or love is the most precious gift that can't be uh, uh, put into price tags. Love is there, and love means what? Love means this, that when your sister, if you have something to eat and that is what you like, your sister also likes, then give a better part of that or larger part of that thing to your sister. You make her life easy. You take the I mean, you take the burden if you think that that burden your sister cannot bear. You just ease your sister's life. You make her feel that you are for her. The sister makes you feel that when you get hurt, when you are sick, then the sister is there with you. The sister nurses you. She gives you water. She gives you medicine. She doesn't eat until you get fit. She doesn't eat properly, or she feels bad as long as you are not altogether fit and all that. So that festival is not celebrated. Festival of lights and all that. You see crackers in India on the eve of Diwali, 4 or 5 days before the Diwali day. You have crackers and all sorts of pollutants. They are brought out, and those people who have lots of money, but those who are horribly decultured, they show off that they have the money. They can buy things that sound exotic. Hundreds of children, child laborers, they die in the factories where these crackers and these bombs are made. What is the what is the use of such factories? What is the relevance of such factories being allowed to run? When children die, people die. We don't need bombs and crackers and all these pollutants. We don't need these things that make noise pollution, air pollution. We need lights, and lights that are not against ecology, lights that are friendly to our ecology. So, too much of ostentation, too much of show, too much of drinking and eating and materialistic behavior, as if money is everything, as if body is everything. You have a huge body, you have a body that seems to be very healthy, but your mind is dirty. What is the use of that body? A body that is healthy, a body that is strong, needs to be backed up by a strong mind, a mind that has essence, a mind that has sympathy, empathy, a mind that feels for the comfort of others, a mind that has a sense of decency, that you don't make noise, you don't create chaos, you don't start fighting if you are very happy, what they call that you are happy sorts, or that you have a wedding ceremony and you start firing just to show that you are very happy. What is the use of firing? Sometimes guns are misfired and then people die. And see what is happening in America. Every 2 3 months, we have reports about school children or one of the school children firing, opening fires uh, on their friends. Maybe I shouldn't call such people having friends also, because a friendship has to be Baconian, Francis Bacon. A friend is your guardian. But the so-called friends, hardly people have friends. Very few people have real friends. You call them friends because they are acquaintances. They sit with you drinking, they smoke with you, they chat with you dirtily, and you call them friends. How unfortunate, how bad. So Indian culture is the best culture in the world. You see, you believing in God is not something that is superstition. God is not someone. God is your heart, and you believe in your heart. You believe in good work. Believing in good work, believing in the chastity or honesty of labor, dignity of labor, I should say, that you believe in the dignity. I'm a sweeper. I sweep the roads or streets. Okay, all right. I have got that job and I have taken that job and I will do it piously. And so even if I'm a sweeper, my job is very dear to me. I'll do it nicely. You are an engineer, you do that job. Whatever capability, whatever talent you have, nature has given or you have cultivated, you have got it going through trainings, education and all that, you do that. And so each function of society, individual, domestic function, social function, governmental, organizational function, each function has to be done by humans, of course, with the help of the machines, because these days. But when you hear about robots doing all these things and you play with the robots, you have your brother, a robotic brother, and all that, getting mechanical. This is extremely sickening. So Indian culture, Indian languages, Indian behavior, respect for the seniors, respect for the parents. I heard about two sons living in America, and their parents lived in India. The mother dies, and when the sons come to know, then they quarrel between them, that they don't have time to go to attend the funeral, and the father calling them, but and giving them information about the death of their mother. But the brothers quarrel. None of the two brothers wants to come to India to attend the funeral or just to mourn the death of the mother who gave birth to them. The one says, you go this time, when father dies, I'll go. Father comes to know about this quarrel and this sort of dirty thinking of the sons who, whom he had brought up lovingly and as a military officer, honest military officer, he had done everything that a good father does for the sons. And when he comes to know that these are the opinions of the sons, that one wants to go to attend the funeral and to just pretend to be mourning for a few days or just a day, and the other will do that when the father dies. The father, the military officer, shoots himself. The wife is dead, and he shoots himself dead. But before that, he makes a deed, or he makes his will, or he expresses himself. How much frustrated he became learning that, and he decides and he writes on the paper before he dies, before he shoots himself, that no part of property should be given to either of the two sons, and that should be handed over to a trust or to the government. And such sons are stains on the parents, stains on the filial parental relationship. This is not Indian culture. You leave your job. You don't go for promotion. You be by the side of your dying mother, dying father, because you also will have to die. Your children will also be doing the same thing, because what you do to your parents, most probably you will receive from your children almost the same sort of treatment. So if we are traditional conservative in maintaining relationship, maintaining the dignity of relationship, familiar relation, social relation, in society, in your neighbor, somebody is dead, and members of that family, they are mourning, and you are having a dance party, you are having a jamboree, and you are enjoying drinks and all that. Drink, but drink soberly, drink that you can digest. But you show, you make noise, you have loud music, and in the neighboring family, a dead body is lying, waiting for the funeral, for the cremation. And this is not Indian culture, and this is not human culture. When I say Indian culture, I mean the culture of the world. Because if anything is good in any part of the world, that good thing has to be looked upon with respect, with dignity, because one thing good in one part of the world is there for all the people of the world to go there and see that thing, or to approach it, or to try to make something like that. If it's a geographical place, you have lakes, beautiful bays and all that, beautiful mountains. You can't have everywhere. And then you go to such places, you see the beauty of the lake, you enjoy the mountain air, you see the Himalayas, you see so many ranges. And so one thing good in one place is everybody has a right to go there and see and enjoy and have a feeling, have an experience. So Indian culture, that is the best culture in my opinion, because you have respectability for your superiors, for your guardians, for your parents. You have love for your youngers, for juniors. You have love for the cleanliness. You believe in Goddess Lakshmi. So many, means everywhere you have a spiritual attachment. And that water should not be polluted, air should not be polluted, because we call Vayu Dev. You say Samudra Devata, that oceans and seas are getting polluted, almost polluted. But we should keep our seas, our oceans, our rivers clean. And if that is a tradition, and if we maintain that tradition, we have to be traditionalist. If we are conservative about maintaining the cleanliness of our nature, our ecology, then let us continue to be conservationists or traditionalists. There's no harm in being called that. But when you go out, you see everywhere relations break off. Brothers live as if they are sworn enemies. They see each other in the court premises. Children go to file cases against their parents because parents wanted them to study, not to smoke. And you say, okay, it is now I'm adult, I can smoke, I can live my life, I can do anything. I can go wrong ways to any extent because that is my life. No, no. No way. Nowhere in the world such things should be allowed. Parents are parents in America, in Australia, in India, in China, everywhere. Mothers are mothers, fathers are fathers. Brothers have to live like brothers, but for the sake of money, for the sake of ostentation, for the sake of showing one down, uh, these things are happening and happening very badly, viciously everywhere in the world. And I am much concerned about these things. And I have written articles earlier also. I'm speaking now, and I am always to call affected when such things happen. So as a living being, as a world citizen, as a human being, as one who feels the pain in other people's pain, as one who feels sorry when something happens to people. Earthquake takes place in Africa and you get touched. You feel the pain of the African people affected by the earthquake. Earthquake takes place in Asia and India, and you in America, you come out with donations, with help and all that. Why? Because you have been moved to pity. You have been sympathetic. So human values have to be honored. Human values should not be lost. Fashions come and go, business, no, people see the advertisements, suggestive advertisements. Ice cream you sell, and then you have sexual suggestiveness in that. Means everything. Sexuality has become the selling, suppose, item. You show the relationship not in the good light, in the bad light. And you know that to become bad, to go the wrong way is very easy and it's very attractive also. But to keep to the right track is very difficult. In order to be on the right track, mostly in your life, you have to be temperate, you have to be restrained, you have to be patient, you have to be sensitive, you have to be sensible. But we are losing these good things and we are blindly following the crowds. And the crowds will always be in majority. So if they say majority must be granted, and that is a fallacy. And that is a negative thinking. Most of the people are not good. Very few people become very good. You don't get the Olympic medal. Everybody doesn't get. The one who is the most talented, the most laborious, the most practiced, the most persevering, that person gets. So good people's number is always smaller. And these good people should be models, not the bad people who pollute themselves by imitating others, bad people, and then they become models for others. See, 90% of the filmmakers in India, the cinema makers, when they don't have money, they live a plain life, simple life. And when they have lots of money because of this government pampering them, you buy tickets, cinema tickets for 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, and these people, they amass money and then they start living as if they don't have any concern. Who is God? Who is divine power? What is the relation between man and woman? Sister is a woman, brother is a man, and that thinking comes, and you start living as a bohemian. You make it a fashion, or you make it a point that you have bohemian ideas. That means you are liberated, you are urbanized, westernized. Your mind is open. You don't have inhibitions. You are frank, open. So you can walk naked in the street, and it's your what do you call it's your achievement that you are so bold. You are not traditional. You are not what you call inhibiting type. Such trends have engulfed 90% of the so-called young people. 5 to 10% people, they maintain the basics of the humanities. They because you have to. This is restraint. Everybody wants to go bad ways. Everybody wants to have lots of money, but that person is good who earns money, but earns in a fair way. Whatever little money he gets, he tries to be satisfied with that. He tries to live within the means. He cuts his coat according to his cloth. Therein lies goodness. Therein lies what you call quality thinking. So, whatever I have said, it may not have been sufficient. It may not have been properly organized. It may not have been so nicely expressed. But I have the concern that Indian culture is under threat of this excessive globalization or imitation of the so-called liberal lifestyle. Why do you have to be liberal? And liberal in a way that you become animals, you lose your humanity and you become animals, and you call liberated human beings. You are liberated if ever you are, but you become what you call animals. You live animals' way, your instincts become animalic, and you lose your humanity, you become ugly. So I appeal to people that those who are, you can say, in the vanguard, those who can influence, they should speak. Good people should come together. They should remain united so that the number of bad people doesn't grow in what we call geometric proportion. Uh, Even if it is gradual, the number of good people should increase and the number of bad people should gradually decrease. That is what I wish, that is what I think. And I wish you all a very bright future. And I wish you all wisdom. I wish you all good sense. God bless us all. Bye bye.